Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Surviving the Badge. It's like a damn contest. Let's see who says cheers first. Before we get started on tonight's show, which we're going to be talking about the First Amendment Auditors and the problems that they're causing law enforcement across the country, I wanted to give a special shout out to a good friend of mine and his company, Derek Brown of the Mortgage Firm. These guys are absolutely fantastic. They are located in Altamont. They have a office in DeBerry, and they are offering a Hometown Heroes loan, which is specially designed for hometown heroes, which are law enforcement, firefighters, nurses, school teachers, so on and so forth. And they are offering this, and I'll tell you what, these guys are absolutely fantastic. So thanks, Derek. They're thinking about coming on as a sponsor. I hope to have you as one of our show sponsors.
About the fallen heroes before we go into the...
Let's do it.
So, as of today, we've had 16 law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty. And like I said last time, and this is another spotlight, 2 of the 16 have been killed in falls. And I just thought that was just weird.
That's crazy.
And this is one of the reasons, our spotlight today, one of the reasons why I like living in Florida.
We don't have mountains.
Well,
we don't have quarries.
So this officer, Kenneth Fowler, Oklahoma City, he's a detention officer, so a correction officer, and he slips on a frozen sidewalk and dies from brain injury in that fall, which never happens in Florida. I'm sorry that this happened to this officer. I just thought it was weird that 2 officers out of the first 16 have died from falls this year. So,
Head injuries and hypothermia.
Yeah, hypothermia. Yeah, we definitely do not have that issue here.
That means he laid out there for a long
probably nobody saw him,
man,
right.
before he was found.
Yeah.
My God.
Right.
That's just terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So, to Kenneth and all of our fallen heroes, we love you.
Salute you. God bless you and your family and everybody in blue. All right, so tonight we're going to have a little bit of a discussion, and it's going to be on the First Amendment Auditors. If you're not familiar with what that is, it has to do with these jackasses that go around with cameras and they think that they can, coax law enforcement into, or bait law enforcement into a discussion or an argument or violating their First Amendment rights by getting too close to the scene, whatever they're doing, and basically intruding and causing them not to be able to do their jobs.
Yeah. So before we go into that, let's go ahead, because I know there's going to be a lot of passion in this episode, a lot of discussion. So, John, why don't you take us into the beer moment so that we don't lose momentum?
Absolutely.
As we're talking.
Well, today we are going to have a house premium crafted lager.
What lager?
Lager.
We never have lagers.
Well, I'm a lager drinker by trade, so fuck off.
I think it's probably a 3-1 lager fest in here,
but that's okay. House Beer Brewing Company.
Maybe a Belgian double every once in a while would be nice.
Maybe you could bring the friggin' beer.
Well,
we had a Voodoo Ranger.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So
we did have a Voodoo Ranger,
and I know I was supposed to wait till we started doing the beer moment, but I started drinking it. It's very good.
It is good.
I wish it had a little more, but it's a lager. So it doesn't have that Belgian wheat or like a Hefeweizen, but it is a smooth drinking beer. I give it a 6.5.
It has pretty good flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It actually does.
And it has a little more crispness
than
the last one.
Yep.
I'm going to give this a 7.25.
Ooh, 7.
And I'm going to go about the middle. I'm going to give it like a 6.75. Not my favorite, not one that I would drink all the time, but you know what?
It's definitely a smooth drinking beer.
Yeah, and I have to give it to you, John. Lately I've not had any bad beers. You've been doing very well with the beer choices.
So and so is our sponsors, and we'll talk about them later.
Absolutely.
All right, so we'll get rolling here. I want to show a little bit of a clip here on the one of the auditors that were out here at a scene. And they're just trying to cause trouble and bullshit.
Yeah. If I may, before you do that, so this episode was actually requested by a viewer. So if you have a topic that you want us to, I forget who was
Trey
it?
Cotton.
Yeah. So if you have a topic that you would like us to cover, comment down below. Hey guys, I want you to cover this or that or the other. Or
Yeah, Trey, we appreciate the idea, man, and it just took us a little while to get kind of everything together because we have kind of a schedule laid out of the, kind of the shows, and the news kind of guides us as some of our cases. But
so we got this video from Donut Operator. It's a year
We did.
or two, and I love this guy. He breaks down police shootings and all kinds of police-related stuff. So please check out his channel. And this is where a lieutenant is dealing with a First Amendment auditor. And
Let's play the clip.
Lieutenant does an amazing job.
I think it's a sergeant.
Oh, sergeant.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, here we go.
You are not legally allowed to walk up and interfere with our traffic stop. You can stand back and record as much as you want to, but if you interfere with a traffic stop again, I'm going to arrest you for interfering. Do you understand that? Don't ever interfere when one of my guys is on a traffic stop. Okay? My name is Sergeant Dave Ernst. I'm with the State Police Gang Task Force. All right? This is your last warning. If you ever walk up on one of my officers during a traffic stop, I will place you under arrest.
All right.
You good?
Yes.
All right.
Just completely shut down, annihilate.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And Donut Operator does such a damn good job.
Yeah,
it's so awesome.
If you watch the rest of this video,
And I'll link it down below, guys. I'll put that video link. And thank you, Donut Operator, for putting out the stuff that you do. Absolutely amazing job. We love your channel, big time.
so the lady is so frustrated after what the sergeant said, and he told him, you can stand over there, do this.
You can video all you want.
Right. And she said, am I detained? I'm like,
Well, that's what they're trained to say. That's
right.
because
She was
all
so
of-
flustered,
yeah.
she didn't have anything else. She's like, oh, am I detained?
That's the first words out of every one of their mouth. Am I being detained
And then the other officer said,
by yourself?
I actually do use that a lot at Walmart when they want to check my receipt.
Oh yeah, when you're walking out
When
with
I'm
the
walking
damn
out
receipt,
and
yeah.
I've got a receipt in my hand, they're like, I need to see your receipt. I'm like, am I being detained?
What do they say to you?
Oh, they
move along,
first
sir.
they try and chase me, and I'll just hold the receipt and keep walking. And they're like, sir, I can't see the receipt. I can't see the receipt. I'm like, you can't detain me.
Yeah. If you're
And
that
they,
worried
and they
about
don't,
it,
they don't look at that awesome mustache and just let you
if
pass.
they're that worried about it, they should put one of them sumbitches at the end of every cash out line and have him checking items as they go into the bank.
Right.
I mean, come on,
Yeah.
seriously.
It's
you
all
know?
for show. So yeah, the lady's so frustrated, and the other officer says, "Yeah, you were never detained." Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What is your problem? Why are you
so
even asking
so these
that?
First Amendment auditors, and I did some massive high level research on Wikipedia. And according to Wikipedia, First Amendment audit is an American social movement of activism and citizen journalism claiming to test constitutional rights, in particular the right to photograph and video record in public spaces. Auditors also claim that the movement promotes transparency and open government.
Okay.
And I have no problem with that.
No problem whatsoever.
Where does the problem lie?
When they start interfering with the investigation or the safety of our law enforcement officers trying to do their job.
Right.
And he does another video, and I watched it, and you can see, and even he mentions it, Donut Operator, when I say he even mentions it. He says, I don't know if I'd be wanting that guy standing behind me like that, the
Right,
video
with the-
camera,
yeah.
when I'm there all by yourself trying to take a tag off a car, and this guy's standing behind you. You know,
That guy's a real douchebag.
yeah, that guy that did that.
No. The guy who was filming the officer with
Yeah,
the tag.
he was an absolute, and it was funny.
Because in that same video, he's talking to officers, like F you,
Yeah, yeah.
go F yourself,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and what they want is they want views.
They want a reaction from
want
the
a reaction
cop.
from the
Oh, yeah,
officer.
but they're looking for views on their channel.
Absolutely.
Yes. They're
Absolutely.
posting it. But the most important thing is officers have to know their job.
Yes.
They do.
They
do.
have to know the law.
Yes.
They have to know what they're allowed to do, what they're not allowed to do.
And I've seen a couple of cases where, unfortunately, the officers were surprised by somebody like this. They didn't know the constitutional or the Constitution
I'm
all
allowed
that
to stand
well.
on the sidewalk and videotape
Right.
anything that's going on around here.
And they said some things and they did some things that did and actually violate the rights of the person videotaping. But here's the deal with that, okay? Not everyone's perfect. Not everyone's going to know the freaking law book by every law in there verbatim.
Right.
And so, I mean, they know the basic laws. They know search and seizure. They know this and that. But, you get somebody, you're taught, this is my scene. I'm in control of this scene. Nobody comes on my scene. Nobody involves themselves in my scene unless I allow them to.
Right.
Now you got somebody that's coming right up close to your scene. They got a video camera, which that's fine. And now as a rookie cop, you're taught, keep everybody back.
Right.
So you tell them, sir, you got to get back. Well, this is a public sidewalk. Yeah, I understand that. You need to get back.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a pissing contest. But here's my
and,
point.
And all it is trying to make the officer look
And
bad.
a lot of
And here's my point to all that. It would never have freaking happened if they didn't get out there with their little video cameras and tried to make it happen.
Absolutely.
It's bullshit.
But
Bullshit.
One of the things, again, I go back to officers need to know what they're legally allowed to do, can't do, and stuff like that. But you can set the parameters. You can't say, sir, you can't be here and leave.
Right.
But you can say, sir, if you stand on the sidewalk, you can videotape all you want.
Absolutely.
If you get
Just
off
like
the
that sergeant did.
If you get off that sidewalk, I'm going to consider that a threat and I will arrest you.
Or if you interfere
Because
with what we're doing.
If you interfere with what I'm doing. But that is a safe distance.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you, I consider that a safe distance.
Yep.
Anything closer, it's not safe for me, or you in the roadway, it's not safe for you.
Right.
And now I have to be concerned about your safety.
And
So-
I've set the parameters.
So I've now told you this is what you're allowed to do.
Yep.
Okay? And if you violate that, well, then we have... But they're aware of what you're doing, but they're also aware that you know what...
You know the law.
You know the law.
And here's
I have
another thing too, real quick on that is when they start saying fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, you motherfucker, fuck off, and all that. It's real easy for the law enforcement officer to walk over to the person that is being stopped and say, I'm sorry that you are being subjected to that foul language.
Does that offend you?
Does it offend you? Does it make you in fear for your safety to have him standing there cussing and hollering at me? And if they say yes, guess what?
In Florida...
You have now committed a crime in the state of Florida.
Right.
And
Disorderly
you're going to
conduct.
get one freaking warning to me, and it's going to be, you need to knock the language off. You're upsetting the party that is in this vehicle. If you cease to do so, I'm going to arrest you. And the next fuck you comes out of their mouth, and I look over and they heard it, you're going to jail.
Now, that does not apply to just the auditor and the officer, right?
No.
Because the officer does not count.
The
in
officer
that-
can't be
right.
the offended one.
Right.
It
Right.
has to be a...
That's why I
a
said you
citizen.
go and
No, I
ask
just
the
wanted
person.
to-
Yeah.
yeah.
You go and ask the person in the car or the victim or whoever's standing there, the passerbys or whatever. Does that language offend you? Yeah, this is absolutely ridiculous. Are you in fear? Are you in fear for your safety, or are your morals being
Offended.
Yeah.
degraded?
Right.
Yes, or offended. Yes.
You mentioned how you set a parameter as to what the auditor can do. The first week of my class with my freshmen, I set up a crime scene. And
What class is that, real quick, so everybody knows it?
It's a criminal justice class.
There you go.
And so I set up, it's criminal justice for students who want to be either cops or attorneys or whatever. So I set up a crime scene, and I give them crime scene tape, the yellow stuff, and they put up wherever they want to. And the freshmen always put it up right there at the scene.
So a 10 by 10 section.
Right, and so I will have somebody walk right up to the tape and say, "What are you guys doing? What's going on here? You need to get out of here." And I it's a learning opportunity. I said, so by putting this crime scene right here, you have told everybody, the press, anybody walking by, that this is as far as they can go. 4 feet away from the body. You have told them that that's where they can go.
One time I was dealing with a crime scene. It was a crash on Reinhardt Road, but it was possible THI involving potentially a law enforcement pursuit and all that stuff. So, I mean, we knew this was going to be
A big deal.
investigated.
Right.
Okay, so I'm putting up crime scene tape, and he drove up on the sidewalk and then on the grass of a roadway, and then went back onto the road. So I'm putting crime scene tape up here, and here is a bug company. Right, we're spraying the lawn. He had sprayed the lawn and all that stuff. And I put up crime scene tape. I blocked off all the grass, and he goes underneath it to go put his spray stuff in
He's
there.
got to spray the lawn.
And I'm like, no, he already sprayed it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's yellow screaming.
He's got to put his sign in there.
Oh,
It's like I got to put the sign in the grass.
oh
I said,
my
you
God.
cannot go to the crime scene. He's like, well, I have to. It's a federal law. I have to. I said,
Then put it on this side of the tape.
I'm guessing the feds aren't going to come find you
Right.
before I do. But
Right.
if you cross my crime scene tape, you're going to jail.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. What
Now,
a
what would that-
maroon.
if you arrested somebody for that, what would you charge them with?
Well, after I gave him a lawful order, it's resisting an arrest.
There we go. Okay, resisting arrest.
Right.
So
I would just
LT
get him. I would arrest him for interfering with an investigation.
Yeah. LT, I want you to show this next picture. So one of the things that these First Amendment auditors like to do is they like to go right outside of military bases and video and take pictures of the military base. Why do they do that? Just to cause a rise.
Yeah, exactly.
So because, especially now or especially after 9/11,
Right.
with everybody being so sensitive about that. But if there's a sidewalk, they can do what they want.
Absolutely.
So you have to, and along with you, both of you guys said, I really try to impress upon my students, you need to know as much as you can about the law because you'll run into somebody who knows more.
Well,
And they
sure.
will test you.
And the sovereign citizens are another one that they'll run
I
into.
always-
Absolutely.
when I trained officers, I always told them, you can do nothing in this job without a warrant, unless you know the exception.
Right. Yeah.
So if you operate in that process, you're never going to have a problem.
Yep.
For
Because
sure.
can I do this?
Yeah.
Do I have a warrant for it?
For sure.
No, I don't. Obviously, I don't have a warrant. So
Yeah.
why can I do
Right.
this?
So
the exception
So
is...
let's check
Yeah.
down the exception.
And here's the exception.
Because another interesting thing I was dealing with, I got a call, and it wasn't necessarily an auditor, but there was someone soliciting signatures for a voting measure at the post office,
Okay.
and post office wanted him removed.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, 10-4, I'll be responding, but my response will be delayed momentarily
While I do some research.
while I do some research.
On federal property. Yeah.
And I'm looking.
So what did you find out?
Okay, because the post office property is a private public entity,
Okay.
the Supreme Court has said they do have the authority to remove people soliciting on their property.
But they can go to the sidewalk.
They can go to the sidewalk, but this was actually in the parking lot.
Right.
Yeah, because the sidewalk was city property.
Yeah.
I mean, city right
And
of
I'm
way.
like, I certainly do not want to be the officer who tells someone they're not allowed to be on federal property,
Right. Without some,
exercising their First Amendment,
Right.
without something backing me up
Yeah.
saying,
So there was a Supreme Court decision.
Supreme Court decision that said, but, before I took any action, I said, I'm going to be delayed a couple of minutes
Right.
while I do some research. And
Yeah.
what
And
did
it's not like it was an emergency.
and
so.
what did I do at that point? I then sent him, because he was my sergeant at the time, sent him a copy of the Supreme Court decision and printed it out and gave it to everyone.
There you go.
So we all know
Yep.
that this is what the law says. We can do this.
Yep.
LT, I'm going to show you. I'm going to have you put up a picture of a knucklehead. So this was in Texas. Joey Perez, 36, First Amendment auditor, and he was arrested on a retaliation charge after he allegedly threatened to shoot police officers while in custody. Why do you think he was in custody?
Because he probably got too close to to the damn scene and wouldn't listen when they said back the hell off.
He was warned by police to not interfere with the performance of their duties. So he was arrested, and while he was being taken to jail, he decided that he was going to threaten the officers by shooting them. So yeah, these are knuckleheads that are out there trying to get likes and views.
Hey,
and
is
all
this
that
the same Belton from the Supreme Court case?
Oh no,
Belton, Texas. I mean, is it?
Belton.
oh no,
Belton,
I
Texas?
thought it was New York v. Belton.
I
Okay,
think
yeah,
it was.
yeah.
Yeah. I just saw Belton. I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
So I was never on. I wasn't on patrol any longer when cell phones were.
You were only on patrol for like 3 years. Come on, get off me.
So
I think
smartphones.
I only saw you in uniform once.
Yeah, Mr. Investigator. Don't
So
even give
did
us
you
that
guys ever
crap.
deal with these guys on patrol? You spent your almost your entire career on patrol.
Not First Amendment auditors so much.
Auditors. Well, I had dealt with a lot of, roadside attorneys. Like I remember one case where
You can't arrest me.
well, no, I pulled a guy over. His tag was expired over a year.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, and I'm like, your tag's expired. Like, yeah, well, having to register your car is, racially discriminatory, and I'm not doing that. Like,
Sovereign citizens, too.
Yeah, it sounded pretty sovereignty.
it was, but
word sovereignty?
and I'm like, well,
No.
Okay.
I can believe what you're saying. However, it doesn't change that the law is the law, and here's what it is, and so I'm going to issue a citation for. No, there's a Supreme Court case decision saying that it's illegal or unconstitutional to force people to register their car.
Oh, is there now?
I said, I happen to be very fond of researching legal cases. So if you can do me a favor, can you cite that case? What case is it? Because I will go look it up right now.
Yeah.
I want to know, and I will share all this information with all my fellow officers.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have the case now. Okay, well, here's
Did he say Marbury versus Madison?
No. I said, here's my card. My email address is at the bottom. Please email me the case. Because I'm
Totally interested.
I want to find this case because I want to share it and enforce the laws as they're supposed to be enforced. However, just so you understand, I will be issuing you a criminal citation because it's a criminal violation.
And you have a right to have a court hearing?
And here's what I said, sounds like you're kind of involved in the law and all that stuff. What are you looking to be a lawyer or something? Well, my brother's a lawyer, or he's going through law school, and I'm going to go to law school too. I said, well, let me explain something to you. Okay, if you send me that court case before your trial, no problem. I will walk in there and I will ask the judge to dismiss his
Drop
case.
the case. Yep.
Okay. However, since I am issuing you the criminal citation, it is a criminal violation. It is a misdemeanor. I am telling you right now, if you fail to show up for court and or you get convicted of this crime, you will not be admitted to the bar.
Right.
So, your choice.
So what happened?
Right.
Well, you took the ticket, and I never got a copy of the case.
So speaking of laws, let's wrap this. Let's land this plane. Kick this pig. Should states enact laws regarding First Amendment auditors? Because I know last year, the year before, we were talking about, I forgot what state it was, but they were talking about like limiting like a distance where auditors can come to a scene.
We had talked about that.
Or do you think that laws in I know
But the
in
problem
Florida,
with that is then it becomes just like the damn loud stereo law. Well, if it was within 25 feet, or then it was 100 yards or 100 feet, and then they did away with it altogether and said don't enforce it anymore. Now it's back, and it's. I don't think that they need to specifically say that if so many feet or so many this or so many that. I just think that law enforcement as a whole needs to make sure they know, this is just my opinion, needs to know the law, know what is actually a violation of the law when these people come around with their cameras and get too close and this and that. And like John was saying earlier, and we've all said in this show, they need to set a perimeter, whatever the hell you want to call it. They need to set that up from the get-go when these people show up. They shouldn't have to, because now it's taken away from doing their damn job to have to do that. But I think they should set a parameter, and I believe that law enforcement should know the law, and when they do, and they violate that parameter, whatever you've set up, then they go to jail.
And you believe that Florida has enough or the appropriate laws?
I do, absolutely.
To handle
in place.
In place now. We don't
Absolutely.
have to add anything.
But officers have to know them, and officers have to knock that chip off their shoulder.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, and the main reason they're doing it is because they know it's easy to get a rise out of officers.
It is.
Do you feel that I'm in charge? I get to make all the rules.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do you think that when it comes to like that, well, we got him, you think it's usually the officers falling for the challenge of authority? Oh,
Yes.
he's not going to challenge my authority.
Which is one of the reasons I always got upset with our agency when they would send us out to calls that we could not take any enforcement action on.
Okay.
Because
you didn't have any authority.
We didn't have any authority.
Right.
Why are you sending me out to this call when there's nothing I can do?
Right.
Why should I go out there and tell someone you really shouldn't be doing this when I cannot back it up at all?
Right.
Yeah.
You're not trespassing.
Fishing in the lake.
You're
They launched the boat. Okay. And they would call us to that shit, and it's like, okay, there's nothing around here that says they can't launch a boat.
Right.
It's just ridiculous BS.
Yeah.
Ridiculous BS. But here's another thought.
Yeah, so let's final comments. LT.
My final comment is YouTube, Twitter, whoever else, Facebook, all of the social media and all of the stuff, TikTok, whatever.
MySpace.
By God, they put a freaking moratorium on certain things.
Yeah.
Can't show guns, can't show kids, violence against kids, can't show, drug use, alcohol use, this and that and the other. Put a moratorium on this shit. If they're out there interfering with law enforcement and they're filming law enforcement, they can't post their shit.
Yeah.
Oh, stop.
I think that's a pipe dream, but I get what you're saying.
I'm just, you're asking me what I thought, what the thing is, asking me what I thought would stop
Absolutely.
it. That would stop
If
it
there's not a market for it, it's not going to happen.
It would stop it. It'll never happen, but that would stop it. And I think that we have laws in the state of Florida that are already set in place to handle this kind of thing. Guys, you in law enforcement wearing the badge, know the law, study the law. If you don't have, if you have a question or you're not quite sure, get with your supervisors. Everybody sit down at a briefing, talk about it. Hey, if we come across one of these people, what are we going to do? This is how we're going to handle it. You saw the one video from Donut Operator. He said, my supervisor said I'm not allowed to respond to you or talk to you.
Yeah.
Cut him right off. And the guy said, fucking asshole.
Yeah.
But it shut it right down.
Right.
Talk to your legal advisor, find out what the laws are.
If you don't know what you can do, you can tactically retreat until you know what you can do.
Yeah.
Sure. And you might get called in there, oh, he got owned by that first, but you know what? I guarantee they won't show the part where you came back.
Right. With the right information.
With the authority and took care of it.
Right. All right, guys. Well, we thank you for watching this, and this was a fun one to do. Like I said before, if you have any ideas, any topic ideas, put them in the comments down below. Also, while you're doing that, like and subscribe.
And let's talk about our sponsors real quick.
Absolutely.
We have Christian and Tom Clem, and they are absolutely fantastic. If you guys are ready to buy or sell a home in the Central Florida area, you want to contact them. Tom is a current law enforcement officer in the communities near us, and he is also a veteran Marine for this country. Guy is absolutely fantastic. Kristen's a sweetheart, love him to death. Clem Company Property Investments. When you're ready to buy, just get out of that property. You want to just sell it and get out from underneath it. Tom with Clem Company Property Investments can take care of you there. And of course, last but not least, one of our favorite sponsors, our first ever sponsor for the show, Kenny's Groceries, located in Orange City, 1792 and French Avenue. They're the ones that bring us all of our beer. They have over 500 beer and wine selections. Their craft beers, you name it. If you can't find the beer that you like at Kenny's, just ask because they'll get it. And if they can't get it, it ain't worth drinking. That's right.
All right, guys, and always remember at Surviving the Badge,
We still got your six. Salute.
Cheers.
Thanks to all our fans
Cheers,
and
last.
all of our subscribers. We appreciate every single one of you.